Hey everybody, welcome to week 3, day 3 of ceramics. This is the third day of our kurinuki project. And to go along with our Japanese project, we're having some Japanese anime music by Miyazaki. Good stuff. Okay, before we jump into the project, I am going to mention one quick thing. If you want to come in and glaze your animal this week because you want it before winter break, there is a way that I need you to sign up for a spot. So this is our Schoology page under current units. You're going to click sign up for glazing your animal. And when you click that, it looks like it takes you nowhere, but you have to click this little spot, sign up for glazing your animal again. And that takes you to Sign Up Genius. So you can pick a time that works for you to come in and glaze your animal. And I'm restricting the amount of people in my room right now just to keep myself and my family less exposed to germs before the holidays, before I try to go see my parents. So after Christmas, if it's not important to you to get your animal glazed before the holidays, you can come in after the winter break as well. But if it's important to you to get it before break, this is the way to do it. So pick a time and then please come during that time. Just come into school through the attendance office doors. They'll be open during school hours. And then just come up to my ceramics room, room 243. That's the same room where you picked up your clay. Okay, so that's, I think, my only bit of random information for you. So let's jump into the PowerPoint. If my computer will let me do the PowerPoint. Oh my gosh, this is annoying. Ha, there we go. Okay, so here's our little Totoro. He's very excited about our lesson for today because today you get to start carving your kurinuki vessel. So on the next clean page in your notebook, please write up at the top, week 3, day 3. This is what's going to happen today. You're going to write down the steps. I'm going to demo the steps. You're going to get work time to do the steps. And then you're going to take a process picture for 20 points. Okay, so please pause the video and write down these 7 steps. It is really important that you have these in your notes. Pause and write now. Great. All right. So your first step for today is to lay your towel that I told you to get, an old beach towel, old bath towel, old rag. Lay that down on your workspace because you're going to start carving today and it's going to get messy. So your towel laid out first will help you be able to pick up a lot more easily at the end of your work time today. You're going to get your solid lump of clay that you shaped yesterday. And I'm going to add one little change for the people who are making a mug project. Remember how yesterday I told you to make that solid cylinder a teardrop shape? Well, I'm going to have you change that. I actually tried carving a handle out of that teardrop shaped cylinder this morning, and it was really, really hard to do. So I don't want to frustrate you guys. So if you want to make a mug, you can still make a mug, but you're just going to make your teardrop shaped cylinder, roll it on the table until it's just a regular cylinder, just a round cylinder. And then I'm going to encourage you to score and slip and meld a handle on later. Okay. So if you want to make a mug, roll the lump of clay that you made yesterday until it's no longer a teardrop shaped cylinder, but just a round standard cylinder. So get that clay form. It should be leather hard today. Get your carving tools, a paper clip, or if you can't find a paper clip from the tool bag I gave you, a toothpick will do in a pinch. You need a small plastic baggie, and I have not given you this. So look around your house, see if you can find a small plastic baggie, and you need a damp paper towel or a Kleenex will work as well. So then your next step is to use your fingers to draw a circle on top of your solid lump of clay. And that circle should be approximately a ½ inch from the edge of the lump of clay. And if that doesn't make sense to you, it will once you see me do it in the demo. Then you're going to use a spoon, or ideally that handmade carving tool that I showed you how to make from a wire coat hanger. And you're going to use those tools to carefully dig out the inside of the vessel. So we're only carving the inside today, not the outside. Keep one hand on the side of your vessel as you're doing your carving, and stop when you're about an inch from the bottom. And that's a bit of a guessing game, but I'll show you how to test it in the demo. Once you have finished your carving, you're going to start testing the thickness, and that's where you need your paper clip. So open up one side of the paper clip so you have a long straight part, and then you're going to use it to stick through the walls of your pot and the bottom of your pot, and you're going to use that paper clip to test and see how thick those walls are. And it's going to make some holes in your pot, but you can just fill those in by brushing or kind of melding your fingertip across those holes, and they'll fill in really quick. When you have finished doing your carving, please snap a picture from above, and that's what you're going to submit today by 10 p.m. Then it's really important that we don't let our clay dry out anything beyond where it is right now. It would be horrible if it got bone dry. So you're going to bag up what you did for today, bag up your clay tightly in a bag, and then all those carved bits that are laying out on your towel, pick up all the bits that you can, pack them into a nice dense ball, and then wrap them in the wet paper towel and put them in the baggie so we can rehydrate them, because it's kind of a lot of clay and we don't want to just let that all dry out and then recycle it, because clay is going to be really at a premium for our last few projects. So we want to be able to reuse all the clay that we can. So please rehydrate it in that way. And I'm going to walk you through those steps in with visuals now. One other picture. So this is kind of what your steps are going to look like today. You're slowly going to carve out the inside little by little by little by little, kind of carving and refining as you go. If you're doing a more clean aesthetic, your walls can be a little thinner, like you see this final photo here. Those walls are closer to 1/4 of an inch thick. If you're doing the wabi-sabi aesthetic, you need to leave your walls thicker, and they should be a 1/2 inch thick, like I mentioned when I talked about drawing the circle on the top. Okay, so here are the steps. I'm going to talk you through them. So I have my towel laid down. I just folded it in half because I don't need the whole towel laid out. I have my handmade carving tool. I have my metal spoon. I have my lump of clay that is going to be, you know me. I have my paper clip, and I have my plastic baggie and my damp paper towel. So have everything assembled. This is just a reminder for those of you making a mug. If you have that teardrop shaped cylinder, please roll that teardropness out of it. Go back to your hard table workspace and roll it until it's more of a circular cylinder. You'll be able to add a handle later. Okay, so now I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start drawing my circle. So I'm positioning my thumb and my index finger a 1/2 inch in from the edge. And I'm using my thumbnail, even though I don't have long fingernails, I'm using my thumbnail to scratch a circle that's a 1/2 inch from the edge of my cylinder into the clay. And that's going to be my guide for where I'm going to start carving. So try and make it as accurate as you can. Then, so that my clay can pivot a little bit better, I'm just using the lid of my slip container so that my pot can spin. I'm going to start with my handmade carving tool because it really is the best tool for the job. I'm going to stick it in so the edge of the carving tool is going to follow along that circle that I just drew, because I don't want to carve beyond that circle because then my walls are going to get thinner. So I'm just spinning and then scooping out the clay from the inside of the cylinder. So I just dug out one layer. Now I'm going to put the tool back in and dig out the next layer. It carves really pretty slick through the clay. You can see it's just hollowing it out one layer at a time. And I'm trying not to let that tool go farther out than that 1/2 inch that I drew initially at the top of the form. Now, if you don't have that handmade carving tool, a spoon is a pretty good substitute. It doesn't quite carve as smoothly through the clay, so spinning it and carving isn't going to work as well. But the scoop method, which you see me doing here, works pretty well. I just have one hand on the side and I'm pivoting the clay. And that's another way to make sure that my clay walls don't get too thin. I can kind of feel the thickness there. So I'm just scooping and pivoting and scooping and pivoting until my walls are a 1/2 inch thick from top to bottom. And I want to leave about an inch thickness at the actual bottom, which is kind of a guessing game. We don't know for sure when we're close to that inch thickness, but I will show you how to test it in a little bit. So I've just carved out the whole inside of my pot. I know you couldn't really see it because it's all in shadow, but now I want to start testing it to see if my thickness is good. So here's my bent open paper clip. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick it through the clay until it pops out the other side. I'm going to kind of feel for where it pops out. And then I'm going to mark on the metal where the clay or where the paper clip ended, where it goes into the clay. So that tells me exactly how thick the walls are. If I am marking the part of the paper clip that is embedded in the clay. So that'll tell me exactly how thick my walls are, and I'm going to test this in multiple spots. I want that thickness to be about a 1/2 inch, and these walls are a little thicker than a 1/2 inch, so I may end up pinching them to become a little thinner. Now I'm going to test the bottom. So I'm going to stick the paper clip through the bottom, and I kind of need to see where it begins to pop out. And then I'm going to mark on the needle on the outside where the paper clip began to disappear into the clay. So again, if I mark on that paper clip with my fingertips, I'll be able to see exactly how much of that paper clip was embedded in the clay. So now I'm just pinching and thinning out those areas that were a little bit thick. I'm also filling in those tiny little holes that I poked in the clay by sticking that paper clip through. And that's as far as you're going to go for today. So you're going to snap a picture from above so I can see your wall thickness and I can see how deep you carved into the clay. And then it's really important to bag this up tightly overnight tonight. We don't want this to dry out anything beyond what it already is because it should be nicely leather hard. Then please clean off your tools. If the clay dries on your tools, it's going to be really annoying for you to deal with tomorrow. So it's easier to clean up today. Pick up all your little shavings because that's going to be kind of a lot of clay. Wrap it in your damp paper towel or your damp Kleenex. Put it in your plastic baggie and then seal that up, please, so that that clay can rehydrate. And then we can wedge it all together and use that for a future project. Make sure you put the lid back on your slip so that doesn't dry out. Again, clean your tools, put all your tools safely away, and then just fold up your towel so all the little shards of clay stay trapped inside, and then just shake it into your garbage can or shake it even outside in the grass. So those are your steps for today. Consult your notes. You should have those steps written in your notes for today so that you can make sure that you're getting everything that you're supposed to be getting. Please message me on Schoology if you have any questions. And don't forget, if you want to glaze, sign up for a time slot using the link that I provided in Schoology. Thanks, guys. Have fun carving.